You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast. With Brian, Craig, and Jeff give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome into the Sportscast, brought to you by the Outspoken Network, episode 228. Got your hosts Brian and Jeff on. Jeff, man, how's it going, brother?
Going pretty good. Just sun's going down a little earlier now, so but trying to get used to that a little bit.
Yeah, you are getting into your good weather, and here in Texas, it's scorching hot. So we hit 105 today, and it's just we're in the worst month right now as far as heat goes for Texas. So I am. Every year I'm like, man, it's just too hot. Let's go ahead and move somewhere it's a little cooler. But it's just not gonna happen. There's not gonna happen. But Craig is on vacation, so I hope that he's enjoying his vacation. He's out camping right now, maybe hunting, but he is not here today, so he will be missed. But we'll be back on next week as well. All right, guys, we got some football items to talk about. We got the weekly
Weekly sportscast.
There you go. Well, not weekly sportscast, but the weekly sports news.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry, I'm trying to get the freaking video on Facebook to go right there. It is. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to multitask, and it's not going.
We're doing it live, guys.
Yeah, we're doing it live. I have to do it every time because for some reason it doesn't just automatically go public, which is stupid. But I digress. All right, guys. Sorry. All right. Yeah. If you want to, we're finally on YouTube, which is great. So if you want to jump on YouTube, you can watch us live, interact with the show. You can do it on Facebook, and also Twitch as well. So feel free to come on and interact with the show. All right, guys. Some devastating news for the Minnesota Viking fans, and maybe you think it is, maybe you think it's not. JJ McCarthy out for the whole season as he needs his meniscus and his knee repaired, fully repaired, and that's pretty big. When your team moves up in the draft, Jeff, and takes a quarterback in the top 10, you have very high hopes for this quarterback, right? So to have him be out for the whole year is pretty big for Minnesota. Do I think he's going to start the season and play a lot this year? Probably not. So I don't know how big it is. But that's a blow for them, regardless of the future of the organization. I know he'll be back next year. No big deal. Meniscus gets messed up quite often. It's kind of a simple surgery too, so it's not like an ACL. There shouldn't be any long-term effects from this, but that's that's not what you want to hear for any team about their quarterback.
No, it's not. The other thing too is, and I don't know if, I mean, when you're talking about any kind of rookie player and you're talking about injuries and things like that, you wonder how many times this will happen. You wonder if this is just a sign of things to come. Is this a recurring kind of deal? I don't think it's a recurring injury, but I think longevity wise, will it happen to other parts of the body? Or will he get injured something else? You do have players like that come in the league and a lot of hype surrounding them, and then next thing you know, they've been on injured lists most of their career. So hopefully it's not anything like that. I think this is a massive blow to the Vikings. We don't really know what in terms of expectations, I don't think he was going to just completely take over and the NFL by storm, but I think he was a decent player to build on and see what he's made of this year. So it's unfortunate that we don't really get to see that.
Yeah.
So I mean, not at least not this year. We obviously will get to see it, but it's just at this point, I look at it like if the Vikings were chips all in, it would be a different story. But the fact that they're not chips all in doesn't really matter. It sucks, but sit him out, let him heal, and you know what? Worst case scenario, get another first round pick. So
yeah, and McCarthy coming off a national championship in college. I talked about this last week, I believe, or the week before. I think JJ McCarthy's going to be a bust in the NFL. I don't think he's going to have that high. He's not going to live up to his expectations. But only time will tell. And I've talked about that on the internet as well. But you're right. The Minnesota Vikings aren't all in. They're not at that point where they're competing for a Super Bowl. I think they took a big step back this year, losing Kirk Cousins. The Sam Darnold's their quarterback, and we know what Sam Darnold is. He's not very good. They're in that kind of rebuild stage, if you will. They have one of the best wide receivers in the league, and Justin Jefferson. But they're kind of in that rebuild mode. So maybe he would have got some playing time this year to kind of see what the future holds. Because I know Sam Darnold's just a feeling at this point. They'll just have to wait one more year to see it. And but he looked decent in his preseason game the other day. But preseason is just, you got to take with a grain of salt.
yeah, and was this injury during practice, or was this during the game?
No, this is during practice.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, because that game, I was like, where did he get hurt? Because
Yeah.
he's looking good.
I saw some highlights and I was like, okay, he looked pretty good, but
it's hard. It's hard with preseason stuff, but
yeah,
the other thing too is, I don't know. Somebody was I don't know what they were on or smoking, but of course, people have to throw around Tom Brady, and I'm like, just stop. Please stop. We don't need to hear about could the Vikings go out and try to grab. It's like, no, he's done.
Right.
Cut it out. He's done. I don't want to hear about Tom Brady anymore.
And he's not going to come back and go to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Ryan. Ryan says only y'all would be doing a podcast during the Cowboys game.
We could do a live reaction to the Cowboys.
Ryan, it's preseason, buddy. No one cares about preseason.
Oh, my dad does. Somehow it's terrible. The season started already. So.
Stats don't matter. You don't. None of these wins matter, Ryan. I'm sorry to break your heart there, buddy.
I don't even know if anybody starting is actually playing in the game, are they? I would assume not.
Well, it's crazy because it seems like the last couple of years they didn't start their starters, but Patrick Mahomes is out there playing. I'm like, what is he? Why is? There's something, Ryan Sims, we could talk about.
Yeah.
Dallas offers CeeDee Lamb $33 a year. I guess CeeDee Lamb said, I don't want to be paid second best. Give me the highest. Make me the highest. And it already ends that point where every position now is going to be, I want to be the highest paid. CeeDee Lamb, now, look, CeeDee Lamb came in the league first couple of years going, okay, well, is this guy at number one? Well, there's no doubt now. CeeDee Lamb is the number one wide receiver. He's probably top 5 in the league. In my opinion, you got to pay this guy. Now, without CeeDee Lamb on this team, I don't think he misses games. I honestly don't. But the Cowboys offense is going to be struggling big time. Big time. So I think Jerry Jones needs to figure it out. He's probably looking to beat Justin Jefferson's deal. I mean, I think second. I think that the money that the contract they offered him is fair, but CeeDee Lamb doesn't want that. CeeDee Lamb says, "I'm the best. Give me the money." And we'll see what happens. I do think he's not going to miss any games this year, though. But are they burning bridges by not offering what he wants? In the meantime, I don't know.
I get confused with this whole thing of, I want to be paid top. I don't know. It's a lot of money to me. So I guess I have no idea what, the daily life or the daily cost of an NFL player is. But
In each
I would have
position,
I mean, if Des Bryant is any indication, it's pretty hefty. I don't remember how much he spent on a dinner, but it was ridiculous amounts of money, thousands and thousands of dollars just on wine itself. So, I guess, if it's time, if he thinks this is is only time to make his money, do what you got to do, I guess. Right. I mean, the thing is that he's on a team that's a high profile team. And when it comes to high profile teams, unfortunately, they're the ones who have the money. And with the NFL, you have a hard cap. So it's like you have to dance this slippery slope of who do you pay the most? CeeDee Lamb's a great wide receiver, but
fantastic.
I don't know. I don't know what the Cowboys do here, but they are a high profile team, and I'm wearing the hat of one right now. And it's like, yeah, you pay them. Like what are you going to do?
It's interesting because the Cowboys, like once again, every year. I don't even know why it's a story anymore. Like Ryan texted me the other day. Cowboys are the most profitable or most valuable franchise at $10 billion. I'm like, yeah, but they also spend like they're the lowest. Like they don't spend.
True.
They don't spend money. Like they're the big dog on stage, big dog on campus.
I mean, it's funny because we could battle. The richest owners in the NFL are here in Denver. Like, let's just be honest here. I mean, those are the ones that have the most money, but in terms of valuation, it is what it is.
It's crazy to me. I'm like, they're valued like that, but they don't spend like that. Definitely not. And if they did, their team would be a lot better. But I'm interested, Jeff, on the next question. Have you watched any preseason football? Because you got a quarterback you're looking at, and Bo Nix. Do you watch them?
So I haven't. The games here, I don't know what it was, but the next day after the preseason games, people at work were like, "Oh, I couldn't find the game. Like, for some reason, it wasn't on the channel it should have been on, and which is CBS typically. That's our local Denver broadcast is usually CBS, and they couldn't find it. And I think it was on NFL Network. That's probably why, unfortunately. So either you had to have something to have NFL Network, or you had to have NFL Plus. So there was really no way to watch it. I didn't have NFL Plus. I think I subscribed to it last year for, I don't know, just because I was a way to watch the games. I didn't really want to have to pay a cable provider. It's like, it's kind of dumb to watch my NFL games. So, so I didn't, and I did that for a little bit. And some of the games are actually televised on Paramount, because the Paramount has a local channel that's streamed, so it'll have the Bronco games on there if they're on CBS. 80% of the time, that's what they're on. So I did not get to watch, but I did get to. I watched a couple of live streams on YouTube that people were reacting to. That's Good Sports is another one. That's a plug there. And Brandon Perna on there. He's like a Denver Bronco guy. So he does reaction, and then I watched the highlights basically. So through a mix of that and Twitter and some videos that were popping up on Twitter, and then watching the highlights, I got to see really good play from Bo Nix. Looked good. First drive there was a throw where he probably shouldn't have thrown it. I felt bad for the receiver because he kind of put him in a weird spot. That didn't happen again though. After the first two 2 possessions, he kind of locked it down. Awesome passes, running and throwing. So he would do, I don't know if it was a play option or, any kind of like running play, if it was designed for that or not. One of them I think was designed for a run that he ran it for a first down. Another one I think he just made a decision to go. But I've seen him throw on the run, which is really cool to see. That's one of the things I think Sean Payton really is kind of wanting to see from him. Great decision making, no sacks, got the ball off pretty quick, a lot faster than Russell Wilson. And if today's any indication, that still is a thing. He holds on the ball too long. But yeah, they look good, man. The offensive line, running backs look pretty good, except there was a couple of hiccups in the first drives that I was like, Rajay P. Ryan just fumbled the ball and tipped it, and the guy caught an interception, and I was like, that's okay. Like, whatever. I think there was a fumble at one point. There's some things they had to work on, but for the first game out there, I think they did a pretty good job. I'm kind of excited to see how they go up against Green Bay. I did see some of the practice video footage of that, so
And like I said, all preseason means to me is that it's closer to real football. But there's certain things you can watch in preseason and take away from because people are gonna go, like, if it's your team, it's funny because this is how people are. If your team does something good, you're bragging about it, and then the defense of everyone else is it's preseason. But if their team does something good, then you're like, it's so it's kind of funny because they'll you use it against each other. But when you're looking at like for you and the Bears and the Vikings with JJ McCarthy, I'm watching preseason to see how the quarterback's doing, right? And there's things you can take away from watching your quarterback in preseason, and that's going to stick there when he's playing a real game with this number one starters, and that's, is he making the right decisions with the football? Is he reading the right defense? Right? That's going to that's something that's going to continue, right? It's not something that's just going to fade away. So you can look at Bo Nix and go, okay, or Caleb Williams, did he make the right decision here? Did he make the right throw he was supposed to? Did he read the defense correctly? And then from what and I saw the highlights of Bo Nix, and he looked pretty good. He looked competent and confident. And Caleb Williams has looked pretty good. He's scrambling around in the backfield, making people miss and throwing the ball. He's looking good so far. I saw a little bit from the Falcons quarterback that they drafted that kind of everyone was kind of shocked about. He was making, I forget his name, but Penix. He made some good throws first. I didn't really get to watch any of Washington's quarterback. And is it Daniels? But I thought he had, he looked really good in college. So we'll see. I'm interested to watch him progress this season as well. But so far, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix have looked pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, and somebody asked me, I guess the thing is, a lot of people here just like, when are you going to announce the starter? And even before this game, it was kind of like, well, Stidham's going to start in the first game, and that means he's the guy. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, I don't know why you would think that, but that's not an indication of anything. That is common. I think everybody kind of should have expected that. If you didn't expect that, I don't know what you're expecting. I mean, it's kind of, he has been here longer. Yeah. He is going to get that start. He's been in the league longer. Everyone knows it's more than likely Bo Nix. But if you were to just sat there and threw Bo Nix out there in the first game and just pretty much told Stidham, you know what, who cares about you? I think it would have been a bad decision. So I mean, it was predictable. So I look at it, I'm like, I just stop. And so after I would assume people are now wondering, like, when are we going to know? And I've always
probably
said
after this next game.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, I 100% think we'll know after the game too.
And they've already come out and said they're giving Bo Nix a lot longer against the Green Bay game.
Exactly. So he'll start. I think that came out today. He'll start. He will play probably a bulk of with first string, to get more reps in. But it's looking more and more likely. I mean, even in practice footage, it looked he was hitting guys and scoring touchdowns. So he looked pretty good on that as well. But another thing someone asked me is like, well, hey, why didn't anyone see Bo Nix? And it's like, well, I'll look at it this way. I don't know. No one in the NFL knows who's going to be good. It is 100%, flip of a coin. It's like, I look at it like this, no one knew Mahomes was going to be good. It was just like, oh, yeah, it is what it is. But then I don't remember what that draft class looked like, but take that top quarterback in that draft class. Is anyone talking about him? I don't know. Like, who was that guy? Like, who, I don't know. Who was the number one quarterback in the draft class of Mahomes? Just
I know
curious.
Watson was up there.
Yeah.
And you're talking about him for not the right reasons.
Exactly. So, I mean, the thing about it is, no, we don't know any of these guys. I'm not sitting there saying Bo Nix is the guy. I'm not going to say he's going to take the NFL by storm. All I'm saying is that when it comes to first round picks, I'm always skeptical. I'm skeptical about Caleb Williams. Like he looked good, but a lot of people can look good in preseason, including Bo Nix. If all of a sudden Bo Nix comes week 1, week 2, week 3, and he's doing horrible, that's not good. Like we may have missed the mark on it. Like, so preseason's great. It gives you a chance to evaluate players. It gives you a chance to take a look at stuff, see what you got. That's how I always look at it. I never look at it as it's a precursor to the season. I always look at it like, look, is Bo Nix getting the ball up fast? Is our offensive linemen actually blocking, giving them plenty of time to throw the ball and doing their job, not committing fouls? Running backs, can they get through the hole and actually get a hole open from the offensive line? All that stuff, defensive stuff, just little things. All I wanted to see in this offseason or in this preseason was Bo Nix and the wide receivers that we got.
Yeah,
that's it. Oh, and Estime, the running back we got in the draft as well. I wanted to see that guy. That was it. I could care less. I know the offensive line is going to be good.
I forget y'all traded Judy, right? Where'd y'all trade Judy to?
Gosh,
Where did Jerry Judy go?
Cleveland?
Oh, that's right. It was Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it was Cleveland.
Just curious. I just forgot about it. It just hit me. I was like, oh, man.
And Justin Simmons is now a Falcon.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But I think, as much as all the Denver fans were mad about Justin Simmons being gone, and I like Justin Simmons. I think he was a great player. He was awesome, but it's just, sometimes it's either it's a money thing or it's like he's getting older, and I think they just kind of wanted they weren't going to sign him to a bigger deal. And that was it, so.
You see Patrick Mahomes today behind the back pass to Travis Kelce?
No.
It was insane. I don't know I don't know why he's really playing. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but it was funny because it's a cool highlight if you go watch it, but I looked it up a while ago or earlier before we jumped on, and Kelce said he was actually mad at Kelce because he ran the wrong route. And it was like it looked like a little screen pass. He throws it behind the back, and they turn it into like a 5-yard gain. I was like, of course, that's what Patrick Mahomes would do.
Well, I mean, it's in a preseason game. I'm not gonna. It's like,
yeah,
I don't think he would ever. I don't think he would ever try something like that in a regular season. That is so risky.
Mitchell Trubisky was the first quarterback taken off the board, and then Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, there you go.
The Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
and I remember it because I laughed at them because they didn't even interview Deshaun Watson at all, and they take Mitchell Trubisky. And I guess now it's kind of good they didn't take Watson because, I mean, Watson was good for Houston at a time before all that crap went down, but I digress.
Before his massages.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's still so weird and awkward. Jeff, what's going on with the 49ers and their wide receiver Iyuk? Are they going? The rumors are he demanded a trade. He wants out. We thought he was going to Pittsburgh. There was a deal between Pittsburgh worked out, not on paper, but
Why would he want to go there?
just agree in talking in conversation, and we have a verbal agreement. And now the owner of the not the owner, but the GM of the 49ers comes out and was like, we want to get a deal done with him. So do you want him? Do you not want him? Like, you guys got to make up your mind and figure out, is he worth the money? Because if he's not, I think that's what it comes down to. It's the money problem. And to me, you haven't budged this whole offseason on what you're offering and what he's wanting. So to me, that tells me that you're going to trade him. If you wanted to make a deal, and one side's got to give, and it's usually the ownership's giving to give it a little bit more money, get it done if you want him. If not, then you need to trade him. Because right now, I mean, is he going to show up to the games? Is he going to show up this season for you? If not, I don't know. And Iyuk is a good football player. I would take Iyuk on my football team. But we thought he was going to Pittsburgh. Now they want to keep him. The 49ers need to figure it out because it's getting way too late. Way too late. And then who wants to draft? Who wants to trade for him? And then pay him a new contract and bring him into a whole new system he's going to learn during, what do they trade? What do they trade him week 3 or whatever to somebody? Like, it's just a weird offseason there and between Iyuk and the 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think people just, maybe it's just there's a lot of weapons on that team offensively. Maybe he's just getting overshadowed. That happens. You're a decoy. Sometimes that can happen where it's like you're kind of set up to break up a defense to get, Debo open. It's just, sometimes they'll do stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, if he wants to trade, then I don't see what the problem is. But man, why would he want to go to Pittsburgh? That is not a place that defensively they're always really good, but offensively I don't think they're even close. Goodness sakes, that's the worst.
They're not even close.
Wouldn't you want to go somewhere where you could at least? I mean, you're on the 49ers. You guys are like always in the playoffs right now, and have a favorites typically, to at least make it somewhere in the playoffs. Go to a team that's ready for that. That's kind of already there.
Mm-hmm.
Houston maybe.
That'd be a good one.
Somewhere. Like, I think Houston would be a great option. Why don't go to Pittsburgh? That's ridiculous. They are so far.
You got a quarterback battle there between two quarterbacks, Russell Wilson.
I guess you could call it a quarterback battle. I mean, what's the worst of the worst out of?
Yeah, you're picking the out of the two worst and going with it and hoping that it
talking from
out.
Experience, watching Russell Wilson for 2 years here, and then hearing all the stories about him, why it didn't work. Horrible.
Terrible. Justin Fields isn't good either.
No.
I watched him on the Bears. My buddy's like, he makes excuses for him. He's not a good quarterback. He's just not. I think this is the first year that Mike Tomlin has a losing season of his head coaching career.
And I like Mike Tomlin, dude.
I know. I do. He's a great coach.
I like him, man. He's so cool. Just not getting the talent. I knew it was going to be, once Ben Roethlisberger has left, I was like, this is going to be a bad road back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's going to be tough because how do you replace someone who you literally won? I don't even know how many championships they won with him. With 2?
I think they won 2 and they went to 3.
Went to 3 of them, yeah.
Because Green Bay beat them in 1.
So, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's always, and that's the thing, man. When you have a quarterback and it's a tough road sometimes. You don't know what you're going to get. You could end up like the Packers, where you strike lightning twice. You may strike lightning the third time. We'll see. But
we're a little too early to tell. But
struck lightning multiple times. That's hard to do. Or you could, be like the Broncos, where we had Peyton Manning, and then we had a laundry list of quarterbacks that just didn't stop.
Didn't work
Like,
out.
From Joe Flacco to I don't even know. Well, Russell Wilson. So there you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully that carousel has ended because that ride got old real quick.
The Giants after Eli Manning. Like,
yeah.
And then they paid dummy Daniel Jones, and he's out there. His stat line this week, the preseason practice they had, he threw 2 picks. He was like he had like a QBR of 2, like rating. He threw like 2 picks.
What?
It was this guy's terrible, absolutely terrible. And the idiot Giants paid him all this money to be garbage. So they have no one to blame but themselves. It's terrible.
Man, and Saquon Barkley's gone, so
yeah, he's now with the Eagles, and now they get to face him twice a year.
Yeah,
it was funny. They played some audio of that because the Giants were on the what's that show? What's that
Hard
show
Knocks.
that goes? Yeah, there you go, Hard Knocks.
Where bad teams go.
Yes, where bad teams go. And they're talking to Saquon. He has a chat with Saquon, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna let you test the market, see what they give you, and then come back to us, and we'll match it. Like, He's like, do you agree to come back to us?" And Saquon took them, like, him testing the market was like kind of disrespectful. Like, why would you just not pay me what I'm worth? He goes to the Eagles, but after that conversation, the guy's like, "Hey, I feel," he's like, "the Eagles are out. I think it's between us and the Bears." And the owner goes, "If he goes to the Eagles, I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night." And then, like, the next day, Saquon signs with the Eagles. It's like, oh man, that's funny. That's just funny.
Hey, the Eagles, that's gonna be fun for the Cowboys. That'll be fun because Saquon didn't have a whole lot around him to really kind of blend it up in, and now that
he's good if he's healthy. That's the problem.
He's good if he's healthy, but he's also good if there are other threats on the team that open that up. That's the other problem. And I don't think that the Giants had anything other than highlight reels from Saquon Barkley. Like, it was like, okay, well, whatever. I guess it's just a one-man show, right? And so now he's on a team that actually doesn't have to have a one-man show.
It was like Derrick Henry in Tennessee. Well, just stop the run, and
right.
What are you gonna do? So, real quick, we're gonna jump into after this to MLB and give a little update on how that's going. But did you know they're making a documentary on Steve McNair? That's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be about the murder, about his life. It's coming out, I think, this week on Netflix. I saw it pop up, and I was like, yes, because Netflix now has this thing where it'll say coming soon, and it'll tell you what they.
Yeah.
So this week it's coming out. I've got to watch that one. Steve McNair was murdered by his, I think, by his girlfriend. He was married, but he had a girlfriend. I think his girlfriend shot him in his sleep and killed him.
Why? What? Am I confused? I'm trying to think of who he was.
You don't know? Come on, Steve McNair, Tennessee Titan quarterback.
Oh, yes.
He took the team to the Super Bowl. They lost by 1 yard.
Yes. Now I remember. Okay, because I was thinking McNabb, and I'm like, why am I thinking McNabb?
Like that. McNair was kind of the same kind of quarterback, but he was bigger, could run.
Yeah.
He was fun to watch. Man.
He was
fun
killed?
to watch. Yeah, he's murdered. A while ago.
Why have I completely not
forgot who he was, huh?
Know that? Like, that is wild, man.
When was Steve?
Because surely I would have heard it and been like, what? Like,
yeah, he was murdered in his sleep by his mistress, I believe.
Was that around when we were in high school?
2009. July 4th, 2009. No, we were 3 years old.
How did I not remember that?
That's
it
crazy.
Had to have happened, and I was kind of like, what? Nuh-uh. And then, like, I completely forgot. I don't know. Life, I guess.
So they're making a documentary on his life, his football career, the murder of him. So I'm looking forward to watch that.
I was so mad when they lost. I wanted them to win.
I think that was Was that the same year that they did it? They did that.
It was
they
their
won on the
first year.
kickoff.
It was their first year in Tennessee. It was their first. It was their introductory year.
They went from the Houston Oilers
Yep.
to Tennessee Titans. I think that was the same year the Bills had them in the playoffs, and they kicked off, and the guy caught the ball, and he throws it all the way across the field, and they run it all the way back, and they win the game on the kickoff. And they went, but they lost. They literally lost the Super Bowl by 1 yard.
Yeah.
Ran out of time,
and that was horrible. That was Eddie. Was it Eddie George?
Eddie George, Steve
Eddie George, and
McNair.
he slipped and like tried to like crawl, and I'm like, dang it.
Well, I don't know if it's Eddie George who caught the. I'm
it-
not sure. I think it was a wide receiver.
Was it a wide receiver?
Yeah, but he ran the route pretty short, like 3 yards short of the end zone, and then he got tackled and he reached out the ball, and they look up and there's no time on the clock. What a heartbreaking way to lose the Super Bowl! But
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to watch that. I started the Pete Rose documentary.
That's good.
I've got through one.
That's good.
How many episodes? 3?
I think so. Maybe more.
I've got through one, and it's really good. So if you now, and it's funny because like I obviously know who Pete Rose is,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know he was as good as he was.
Dude, he was so good.
I didn't know, like I knew he was a good,
Mhm.
I knew he's a good baseball player.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't know he was the best at that time baseball player.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I'm learning some new stuff. So that
I didn't know how early he came into the league.
yeah.
That's one of the things
Yeah.
that shocked me. I was like, dang, he was in the league when like, you know, like around like towards the end of Jackie Robinson. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? That's crazy. He was there early on. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I never knew his timeline, and so it was interesting and to see, and then go, oh wow, he was really one of the best baseball players in the major leagues.
played football too,
Yeah,
which is pretty wild. Not in the NFL, but I mean, he played
Yeah.
football in high school and maybe tried college, but yeah, he was like a dual type kind of player, like that athlete or whatever. It's pretty cool. It's pretty wild, you know. It's pretty interesting because the documentary isn't like 100% glorifying the guy like they
Yeah.
do. There are people that are like, he is not great, and
Yeah.
we'll tell you why. So it's not like it's a glorified documentary about him, but you do get to see his career, and you know, there were moments where he's good, and there are moments where there's maybe some questions. So
which I like that when a documentary does that, and they don't spin it one way to make him look better than he was. They tell the truth. They get sides of both stories and let you make up your mind.
Right.
So I love that about it. So
yeah, it's really good.
And good for Pete Rose for sitting down and doing it, because a lot of people, when they sign up for this, they're like, I need to make me look good. You know, like they won't do it. So good for him.
Yeah.
Also, when we're talking about documentaries on Netflix, I believe the Gladiators one is on there. Did you watch that one?
I haven't seen that. I've wanted to though.
That one's so good, and they paint that guy really bad, but they tell you why he's
really bad.
Crap. So it's really good to watch. Let's get in a little bit of baseball here before baseball forgotten about, because football's starting up, and baseball really kind of lingers in the back burner until the postseason.
Quiet, it's my favorite sport. No, I'm kidding.
It's my second favorite, but it does sit a little bit on the back burner until playoffs or the race to see who's going to be first place. And look, your Yankees are back on top. Your Yankees, 73 and 51.
They're hanging on. They lost today. But
you can't win them all now.
You got to win them all.
This ain't Pokemon. You can't catch them all, Jeff.
No losses. That'd be crazy.
162. What the?
I think everybody be dead on the team at that point.
And then they got to win they lose the first round of playoffs. That would be
they get swept.
That would be something.
So like I said, I mean, the Yankees aren't perfect. Of course, I think we wanted to have some more action in the off season, or not off season, but in the trade deadline. didn't really go our way. There was some weird stuff going on. Some players that we thought were going to be available and somehow did not. Teams were playing some games, I guess. I don't know what was going on, but it's like, oh no, that guy wasn't available. It's like, what are you talking about? You know, there were reports you said he was, and now he's not. So, the Yankees went out and got what they needed to get. Chisholm, I think, was the big one. They got a couple of bullpen arms. Nothing too crazy. I think this team is a good team when everything's clicking. So we got destroyed by the worst team in baseball for some odd reason, but that's baseball. I mean,
The White Sox?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
murdered.
Wow.
Pretty bad. Juan Soto like threw his bat and it was pretty bad.
The White Sox are 42 and a half games out of first place.
Right, exactly.
I've never seen that.
Baseball's a weird sport. I mean, so you're going to have weird losses like that. And the funny part is Juan Soto had a horrible game that game, broke his bat. Next game, hit 3 home runs. So, I mean, it's just, we won. So I'm like, I guess, and I did watch not today's game, but I watched a little bit of yesterday's game. And, Clay Holmes came out and shut the door. No skating around, bases loaded, and none of that. So I'm glad that didn't happen. That's a good sign. But it's just, oh man, I'm ready to just get in there. Everybody, and we have another pitcher that we don't even have in the lineup yet, and Clark Smith. So it's like, bring him in there. Like, hopefully he comes back in. He was playing really well. So I think their pieces are there. It's just it's a matter of everybody clicking at the right time at the same time. And Juan Soto's been playing out of his mind.
Best pickup in the offseason.
Aaron Judge is 44 home runs. I don't know what, but the guy could hit 50, maybe even 55 before the season's over. That's ridiculous. Chisholm has been great, but he got injured. And that's one of the things. I think it was a UCL injury, or I forgot what it was. I'd have to look it up. But there's some good news that came out of that. They think actually it won't be too bad, and I think he actually may be able to be ready by the playoffs. Again, I don't know if that takes into account rehab, simulated games. I don't know. That's a little iffy. But we do have pieces that have been helping since he's been off. So, and man, it's just a matter of just beating some of the division teams, especially at Baltimore.
Yeah, y'all need Baltimore to drop off.
Yeah, and I think once they're in the playoffs, and it'd be different. So, but it's just get there. Just get there.
Anything can happen in the playoffs. The Rangers last season is a perfect example of that. You've got New York up top. You got Baltimore, obviously, to deal with. The Cleveland Guardians have come out of nowhere. They're 72-51. Houston will probably win our division. Seattle's 4 games back. The Rangers are completely out of the playoffs. They're 11 games out of first place in the division. Phillies are just murdering that division. Atlanta Braves have been probably one of the biggest disappointments this year. They're 8.5 games out. Phillies are just kind of sitting around waiting for the playoffs. Milwaukee's been a shocker as they're 71-52, and then the Dodgers 72-52, which they're going to be there. Yeah. So I think on that side it's the Phillies and Dodgers, and I really feel like in American League it's between New York and Baltimore. I think those are your 2 best teams. Baltimore's
Houston. I get worried about Houston.
Yeah,
I always get worried about Houston.
The experience
every year
that they have on their team, I hate them. I think we can both agree. I hate their guts, but with their experience, I don't think they're kind of like the Golden State Warriors. They got the experience. They know how to get there. They've been there before. Now the Golden State didn't cheat. Houston did, but you don't want to face them in the playoffs. I don't think. Texas has fallen off the map just completely.
How many games are they out of the wild card race?
Let me see.
I'm curious.
Well, I haven't really kept up because
last year they got through the wild card. So they didn't win their division. They got through that way. So wonder how many games they're back on that.
When I heard the other day we had a 1% chance to make the playoffs. We are 14.5 games out of the wild card spot.
Wow.
11
more than in the division.
Yeah, we would have to win our division.
Wow.
It's done. We're done. So they have DeGrom. I got a notification said that DeGrom's going to be throwing in Double-A. What's the point? There's no point. Sit him down for next season.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point.
What about? Evaldi, but has he been not great? Like,
Evaldi's not has been as good as he was last year.
Hmm.
He's still good, and really the problem is, and I told and Ryan Sims, if you're listening, jump on because
he's
we
watching the
argued-
Cowboys. He could care
Yeah.
less.
we argued this. During the trade deadline, I said we need to be sellers. And Ryan's like, we're 3 games out at first. I said, I don't care. We haven't hit the ball all damn year. It's not changing now. It's not changing. If we were going up in slumps and stuff, I agree. Our pitching's been decent this year, and we can't score runs, and it's not going to change overnight, and it hasn't changed. And what do we do now? Now we're 11 games out. We actually bought people. We didn't sell anybody off. We bought a couple, traded for some guys, and for what? They'll probably be gone next year. Hopefully Evaldi's on the team next year. I don't know if he will be.
Mm-hmm.
Max Scherzer won't be here next year probably with his injury issues. I don't know if he'll play baseball again. I mean, he's getting to that point. This team.
I mean, yeah, he's getting old, guys. He's getting old. I'm surprised he's still out there.
I don't mean to be Debbie Downers, but the Rangers window might have been just that 1 year gap, 1 year win, because you look at this team and after last year, I'm going, okay, we got Evan Carter, who was a beast, He came in as a rookie, killed it that year. We won the World Series. He's been killing it. He played maybe 30 games this year, and he's got back problems. It's not good. Langford killed it this year. He could have done better, but he's been pretty good, okay. But our young guys that we thought were going to be here after last year, they kind of fell off this year. And I'm going, well, it's not looking as bright as I thought it might. Who knows? Bruce Bochy usually wins a World Series, misses the playoffs. And if you go look at his World Series, he would win one, miss the playoffs, win one, miss the playoffs, and win one. So, but next year's probably definitely his last year of coaching. If you see him walk out of the dugout, it looks painful to watch. He's getting really old.
I'm surprised I just didn't think he was that old when
there's rumors that he might not come back next year.
Dang.
But that would suck I feel like it would put us more in limbo. But here's my problem. Here's my problem I have with it, Jeff, is first of all, the TV contract money not being there has really hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem with it is this franchise, the owners have always been known to be cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And then we finally get Chris Young as a GM, and he talks him into, hey, give me some money. We'll go out and get Bochy. We'll go out and get Seager. We'll go out and get Simeon. We'll go out. We'll do all these things. And Josh Daniels was some part of that too before Chris Young came in. And they finally gave up the money to do it, and we won a World Series. And all of a sudden, instead of, hey guys, that was a great feeling, let's keep going. Let's spend more money and get the guys and keep this run going. It's kind of like they were like, we accomplished our goal. This TV contract money is not there. You better figure it out because now we're going to go back to being a little bit cheap. So next season is going to be the team we have. We might lose a couple. I don't know if Adolis will be back next year. He's been an absolute bust this season. Is Evaldi here or not? I don't know. If he wasn't going to be here next year, you should have traded him in the trade deadline. Bottom line, he'd have been the biggest splash. Would have been the biggest trade that happened in the trade deadline this year. We've got some tough decisions to make, and I feel like this roster next year is not going to be as good as it was over the last two, and the Rangers aren't going to spend money to go all in again. That short window that we had is going to end before you know it. Unfortunately, that's the way I feel like it's going to go down. But
well, yeah, I mean, you have to. It's weird. I deal with a little bit of that with the ownership of the Yankees. They spend, but this dude's kind of cheap, man. He's like, oh yeah, you don't have to have a large payroll to win championships. I'm like, okay, like you're not an organization that can really say that. So the thing is,
Yeah.
people are like, oh yeah, well there are question marks. Like, well, will they even spend money for Soto? I'm like, you better. I mean, why wouldn't you? It doesn't matter. Why at this point, why wouldn't you? To have Soto and Judge literally right after each other in a lineup has been devastation on teams. Like, there is no combo in the league that dangerous. It's too dangerous to not keep. Like, and so I don't care what Soto asks. Pay him. Even if it sounds crazy. Because it's going to sound
crazy. Did you
crazy.
already make him a deal, or did you just trade for him and you haven't made him a deal
He was
yet?
never going to do a deal in midseason.
Yeah.
Because of freaking Scott Boras and his, ridiculous agency that he has. So, like, because of Scott Boras, they're never going to do any kind of deal in the midseason ever.
Hate that
They're
guy.
going to wait till the season's over, and that's when Scott Boras is going to ask for his $700 million contract, which is probably what it'll be.
It's going to be up there.
It's going to be insane. It will not make sense at all. But this will be the last contract Juan Soto signs in his prime.
Yeah, this will be it. And so he's going to go for
all. So he's going to go all in, and I don't blame him.
I don't think it matters where it is.
He's young.
Either.
He's good. He is exactly what the Yankees have needed. They needed a guy not just to hit home runs. We have a guy who can hit home runs. Aaron Judge hits home runs, no problem. But we need a guy who can get on base. And that's been the issue for a long time. A guy who can get timely hits, get on base, timely hits. Like, bunt. That's the thing. You see a player like that, and you're like, oh, yeah, he's going to go bunt to get the guy over from second to third or whatever. And you see him do it, and you're like, wow. And he does it with 1 out. Right? Situational baseball. He's perfect at it, dude. And he nails it every time. And I'm like, this is a different player. Like, this is a player you need. Because when Aaron Judge gets to a point where home runs can't happen, guess who's going to save you? This guy. Like, and that's the thing is Hal Steinbrenner's just like, yeah, I'm like, no, we're not gonna,
You go out. This is one you go out and you get the.
This is the one you go out and get, because they don't want to spin. So go out and get your guy, and then we'll figure it out at the end of this season. What we got to do to fix it, because I'm sure we're either gonna, we probably will be in the playoffs, but then again, I don't think we're, the idea of us winning a championship is a little up in the air because they're so wishy-washy. It's infuriating.
Yeah, because like if you look at the Yankees franchise a long time ago, Steinbrenner spent buku's money, and they were like, "Whoa, we're spending too much money." When they won World Series,
sure,
and then they get is this his son?
Yeah, Hal,
and he's gone the Jerry Jones route where he doesn't want to spend.
Oh yeah, and here's the stupid part: I get not spending money. I get not spending money all the time. I get it. We have talent sitting in AAA that I'm surprised isn't even up. Like Jason Dominguez, where is he? Oh, he's in AAA. Why? Oh, well, we got Verdugo out. I don't care about Verdugo. Like, get him out of there. Bring Jason Dominguez in because Verdugo ain't hitting worth jack, and he's allergic to his batting gloves for some odd reason. That story came out, and I was like, what is that?
What?
Yeah, there's something stupid about that. So I was just like, you need to start putting the chips in with some of these young talent. If you're not trading them, which is exactly what happened in this trade deadline, then use them. Because I don't understand why they're tiptoeing around this and, maybe we'll bring them. I don't know. No, stop it. Bring them in. Stop it. That's what happened with the Yankees when they had Jeter and all this stuff. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Like, you have to use the talent you got in AAA and then go buy some of the pieces that you might need to make that talent solidify.
Yeah.
The core of the Yankees back in the 90s was, a mix of that. It was a mix of some guys they picked up and a mix of some guys coming out of AAA. That's how the core four was formed. Posada, Jeter, Pettit, Mariano. They were all from the farm system. All of them. So it's like, I don't understand why you're not trying to do that. I get they're trying to some degree, but there are a few guys out there. Aaron Jones, or not Aaron Jones, but Dominguez is one, and then there's another pitcher. I'm like, why isn't he up? You were going to trade him. Like, you need to start bringing these people up. It's the matter that all this takes so long to get these young guys up here is ridiculous. It should not take that long. I get you don't want to hurt them, and I get they need to learn, but man, when they're good, just have them go out there. Once it gets to a certain point after a few years, it's time.
Yeah.
But some of these guys are down there for 4 or 5 years. I'm like, what are they doing down there?
Yeah, you watch these. I don't care about them in the draft because we don't see these guys for 8 years. And you're like,
MLB's like, oh, we're going to televise the draft. Why?
yeah,
we're not going to see this guy for 4 years.
Yeah, I'm going to forget who we drafted 4
exactly.
years ago.
And he might not even be anything.
Yeah.
So it's like we get excited for what? A guy that's never going to show up? Like,
yeah.
And potentially get traded. You don't even know if he'll even make even if when he gets to the major league, he may not even be on the team, maybe somewhere else.
Or you're the Rangers and you get a sure deal Jack Leiter, and what is that? I mean, gosh, he's been terrible. He finally came up and got rocked, and I hear he's going to be our 5th starter next year, no matter what. I'm like, oh, that's great. So, but yeah,
that's baseball, though.
That's baseball.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Well, it's that time of the podcast where we ask the famous question of what's in your locker, bud.
I've been busy with work and busy running around, like doing book stuff and selling. She's been selling some events and stuff, and I think this is the first weekend we are not doing anything like that. It's busy with work, man. Trying to get through this last bit of summer. It's not as bad as y'all's, but it's not comfortable either. So work's been great. It's been this weird thing going on with work. I have they have this machine, there's printing deal that I have to work with that is so new that they haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. They have it there and everything. We set everything up, but we're not allowed to even turn anything on or run it until they have the people that made it come out and show us. So we're still waiting on that. Work finalized the thing for a new building, so we're actually moving to a different building, which is pretty cool. It's like a block down from where I'm at, but it's way bigger. I think we're at 200 something square feet, and this thing's like over 900 square feet. So we needed more space. That company's growing too much, so they definitely are excited about that. I think they start moving some stuff in there in October, and then I think we're fully in there by next October. So it's gonna take a long time, but I think that's all I got right now. Just that and baseball and waiting for football. I haven't talked to my dad yet about his excitement for post or preseason. So usually if they like Brian said, if they do bad, then he's like, it doesn't matter. I don't care about that. And if they do well, it's like, yeah, look, we're head of the Super Bowl.
Typical Cowboy.
Yeah, and half of it's just it's like, okay, Dad, whatever. Here we go. So it's fun. And the funny part is I think I was talking to somebody, they're like, well, how'd you watch the Bronco games when you lived in Texas? And I was like, I kind of like just found them on like weird streams on Reddit. So I was able to watch them that way, but
you want to pay an arm and a leg nowadays to watch it.
Yeah, now it's crazy. So now I just if the Cowboys are on primetime, I'll watch. I told him, I said, yeah, I watch the Cowboys, but if I wanted to laugh, that's when I watch. So it's comedy hour when that happens, or comedy 3 hours, whatever. So yeah, that's just excited for football, excited for baseball. I just want to get this season over so we can get to the playoffs. I want to get to the playoffs with baseball. I'm just so I'm ready to see some of those games, and I want to hopefully it pans out. But yeah, I'm excited and you know what? I'm also excited for basketball. I'm excited for basketball.
Yep.
Finally, some
Yep.
excitement with the
This
Mavericks. I
this
am
year looks pretty
super
good.
excited. Matter of fact, I might even get freaking NBA League just so I can
Nice.
watch some of these games. I'm super excited about it. So they're going to be playing Denver, I think, in the first 10 games somewhere. I don't know if it's here or if it's in Dallas, but they came out with the schedule or something, and I think the first 10 games is against some crazy teams, man. Freaking Timberwolves, and so I think the first game is the Spurs, which I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right,
Wembanyama, baby.
yeah. So,
No, there's some
but yeah,
excitement there for Dallas, definitely.
yeah,
Matter.
that's kind of it. What's in your locker, man?
Well, this is the first week of school, so we've been dealing with back to school shopping, going out and getting clothes, and getting the kids used to the school schedule again, and all that fun stuff. That's been hectic, but not too bad. I took them out today to Urban Air, and my kids, and I like Taco Casa. My kids love Taco Casa, so we'll go there. My wife doesn't eat it, so I'll take them out. We went to Urban Air, and Taco Casa is kind of like a, first week done with school. They all did good, so a little treat for them. And then I've been playing, believe it or not, a lot of MLB The Show. I've
So have
been
I.
I've been creating different players. Man, so a lot of times I'll create a player and then I'll just wherever I land is where I'll be. But I was like, no, I'm gonna be a shortstop. I've never played as a shortstop, and I want to be on the Rangers. So you can in the MLB The Show, you can make them. You can choose where you want to go, or you can just go by a random draft. And the Rangers drafted me. I played 3 games in triple or double A, and they pulled me in the office and they're like, "Well, we already have Corey Seager, but keep playing hard." And I get traded. I'm like, "Are you?" So all of a sudden, I'm like, I go to play the next game. It was maybe 2 or 3 games after that meeting with the coach, and I go to play that game. And I'm like, "What is this?" Traded, didn't even know it. Got traded to the San Francisco Giants double A team. And I was like, and guess who I was playing the first game?
Rangers.
The Rangers.
Whoop them.
And I was
Whoop
like,
there.
you mother. And I made it all the way up to the major leagues, and I was playing the Rangers again.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Juan Soto. I was like, oh, that's weird. But it was just like, you sons of bitches. So bad. I just recently created. I usually do a third baseman or first baseman / pitcher. I got tired of pitching, so I've been doing shortstop or outfield, and I've been playing a lot of that lately. So
Oh, I've been playing it too. I got the platinum actually in MLB The Show.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I looked at it. I was like, I got to be close, and I looked at it. And I had 2 trophies, one of which was insanely hard. I don't know why it was so hard, but it was, and it was to do a diving catch in the outfield. So
Why is that?
I don't know why it was so difficult because you have to purposely try to time it perfectly, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking, and I'm like, I don't know why it's just being, and it's crazy because other stuff was even harder. It was what was it? I think you had to throw a complete game without giving a run or under 100 pitches, which I did, and that was cutting it close. I had 90 something, 96 or something. But then this one, I'm like, I saw someone do it, and they were in the Polo Grounds.
Those damn stadiums.
The worst place out there. And I was like, well, I guess I'll have to do it in the Polo Grounds. So I had enough room to at least run, or whatever. So it's hilarious of me trying to actually get this because I'm literally fastballs down the middle of the plate, dude. Or fastballs, trying to get them to pop.
Crank.
Dude, trying to get them to crank it out there so I could try to dive out and catch the ball. And it came down to the 8th or 9th inning, and Ken Griffey Jr. Awkwardly dove, and he caught it, and I was like, did I get it? It popped. I was like, oh, I got it.
Nice.
But yeah, I platinumed it, and I was like, I've never platinumed sports games, so I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So now I'm just doing my MLB Show stuff, or Road to the Show.
Yeah, I was looking at
and I'm on the White Sox.
Oh, terrible. I got one on the Giants, and then I got a right fielder on the Rangers. I went back and said, I'm gonna do right field, but it's fun, man. It's fun. And then I started looking more into the Diamond Dynasty part of it. That's pretty cool, building your
Yeah, I
team up.
kind of want to eventually look into that because it seems interesting. I
Yeah.
just never really like sat down and
I
tried.
had over 15,000 points. You know, you get the points.
Yeah.
I had over 15,000 points, and then I went and I had a bunch of cards I didn't even know I had.
Yeah, dude, you get so many
and
when
I
you
was
forget about it.
selling them,
Yeah,
selling them, and I had like 23,000 at the end. So I started buying packs and with the points, but
yeah.
it's real fun. Playing a little bit of college football too, but other than that, just working. Work's been fine. Work's been good. I'm still this is my second week as supervisor, so I'm still learning some stuff over there, but I feel like I'm getting a grasp of it, and it's a lot less chaotic than my previous job, so that's always nice. The stress is not there, which is fantastic. That's pretty much it, man. My schedule right now, I'm the closing supervisor, so I'll go in at 9 a.m. and get off about 7-ish, but it just depends. It depends on when the last driver is. Usually it's like 6:30, sometimes 7. But I can stay up late and get a little bit of sleep in time, so that's kind of nice. But all right, guys, well, that's your episode today, 228. We covered some of the MLB or NFL news. A little bit of MLB at the end of it, getting ready for the playoffs. Next week, guys, we're gonna have all three of us back here Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, and we are going to do our top 10 quarterback lists going into the season. So that's always a fun one when we start breaking out the list and argue on the quarterback list. And then the week after that, we will talk about what do we have? It was I got ahead of myself. It is we're gonna talk about the questions for each team going into the NFL season this year. So
okay, yeah.
But all right, guys, hope you have a great weekend. Hope it's not 105 where you're at and you're not melting. God bless, and remember,
Keep it outspoken.